And here we are. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. Dan Baumann here with Chief Experts, and I'm on the call with John Schrader and Joleen Emery.
Everybody.
Joleen, you
Hi.
guys, thanks for being here today. It's always nice to see you guys and get on a call with you. Uh, we've got some we got some fun things coming up today. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing again. I know often you guys want to come and talk about chief architect, and we'll get back to that. But for right now, it's been my goal to help you guys do a better job marketing your business so you can get the kinds of jobs that you want to get and work with the types of clients that you want to work with. So that's what we're all about. And that's why Joleen is here, because she is the president and CEO of Big Raven Media, and she does know how to do this stuff. And I have had some people say how much they really enjoy listening to you, Joleen, and that how much of a nice teacher you are, and you're such a calming personality. So it's really awesome to have you on the show. And John, of course, everybody always loves you, so it's no big deal there.
Right.
But so today we're just Q&A about marketing. So you guys, if you have some questions about marketing, things like, where do you start? Which, John, you just said that one.
Yeah.
What's the best channels, social media things to do? Where can you find help? I mean, all of those different topics. Please feel free to chime in and ask your questions. We can work through that. If you have a website you'd like us to take a look at, we can do that too. So just by all means, please do that. And so let's before we get started here, well, actually, I'll come back to that in a little bit about the course that we're going to be doing, the Digital Marketing Mastery course. So let's come back to that. So Joleen, so John, ask your question.
Okay, I'll ask my question.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I've started marketing on like a website stuff twice now in the last 10 years. And I get a little ways on it, and then I get busy and I don't get it finished.
Yeah.
So I kind of see marketing like eating an elephant.
Yep.
So what's my first bite? What should be my first bite be? And how long should I take to eat the elephant? Can I take
where
a
do you
whole
want
year
to
to eat
start?
the elephant, or that
Well,
kind of thing?
Will we still be friends if I tell you it depends?
Sure.
And and it does. And
What does it depend on?
this is what it depends on. It depends upon what your goals are. Like, what do you want? Do you want more website traffic? Do you want more leads from your website? Do you want your website to better represent your brand? It just really depends upon, your desire, for what you want that website to be. And then from there, the next question is, okay, once you know what you want, the next question is, do you want to do that yourself? Do you want to DIY it? Do you want to find a partner? And if you find a partner, how much do you want to spend? But I think that, for lots of us who are entrepreneurs and solo entrepreneurs, there is so much to the business of owning a business that sometimes we don't get to these things. And they are a start and stop, a start and stop. And it's not until, we kind of do that commitment either with time or money and attack it with time or attack it with money. Right.
So for instance, for right now, since I have plenty of work coming in and even more some days than what I'd like to have.
Sure.
I want to have a presence, that people see that I'm there. Not necessarily that I'm gonna get work from them right now, but if things start slowing down, I want to be able to have a broader reach to contact people and say, I'm available. What can I do to help?
Right.
That already are familiar with me. I don't have to.
So what I hear you saying is that you are looking for a website that is more about your social proof, the testimony of how awesome you are and how great you are to work with. It's almost like you want your website to be a showcase of the things that you've done. So it builds credibility and it helps people know, like, and trust you.
Okay.
And so because you are so busy, I mean, you sound like a perfect candidate for finding a partner. because you don't have time to do this. And I think you've proven that to yourself with your
Yeah.
start and stop.
Yep.
And so that's where you start. You get somebody that you trust and somebody that will listen to what you want.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, if you ask yourself and you like strip it all away and honestly answer, John, you're gonna sit down and really do this with the
Mhm.
countless hours it takes to, design, develop, and then push the buttons.
Right.
That's really the big
Right.
ask.
Yep.
What's
Mhm.
tough, again, eating an elephant,
Mhm.
it really is. All of this marketing stuff is that term, but really
And
you
it's the
just,
same way with everything. You just need to know what part to start eating, and
Right. Well, it's kind of like, so I like the Swiss cheese approach. So since we're having fun with metaphors this morning,
yeah,
so in the Swiss cheese approach, you just poke a lot of holes in it, poke, 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 right? And
uh-huh.
then we just take a little tiny, bit of that section, we poke a hole in it. So we let some of the pressure out of having to do everything all at once. And
Okay.
instead we compartmentalize. And it's kind of like what I've said before about the nice to do and the have to do. If you want a presence, then you have to do this bit that you've just talked about, which is get that website in order so that it accurately reflects what you want it to, which what you're essentially talking about is your brand. You
right.
want your brand to be that people can trust you, that you do great work, and that when the time comes, you're building your bench, right? You're building that pipeline of
Mhm.
other work to come down the track. Because
Right.
I think that, like, we're all, especially in your industry, you're in this blender, right? So many things happening all at once and spinny, spinny, spinny. And it's awesome right now. But I think it would be unwise to think that's going to last forever. It's a
Right.
trend.
Yep.
So now, when you have a little bit more discretionary funds, perhaps you have
Mhm.
less time, but perhaps more funds, then it's
Right.
the right time to find somebody that you trust to help. Because it's still, as Dan can attest, like having me on his team, it's still a lot of time for him. He still has to sit down and talk to me about what his heart desires so that I
Right.
can make that happen.
Right.
So
So
there's still time. It's just more
right.
efficient because someone else can then go and do what you want.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that was my
Mhm.
next question. How much time, if I found a partner that I wanted to work
Mhm.
with, how much time can I expect,
Yeah.
to have
So
to put into that?
in the industry, like it kind of depends, like on my side of the equation. I meet with my clients every single week. Some marketing agencies are every other week, some are once a month. It depends upon goals and what you want. Dan is a heavy hitter when it comes to content, and he's putting new stuff out every single day. That's what my team does. But in his
Mhm.
bigger picture, we got to talk about that weekly so that we are making sure, website changes, sales pages change, the designer show is ready. Like he's got a lot of content. So
Right.
he's a once a week person, but that doesn't mean that everyone is. It just
No,
really depends.
but that's my business though, is, I sell
Yeah.
stuff online. So of course I'm going to spend more time on my
Yep.
website than other people. I do courses, I do all of these
It's your
different
brick and
things.
mortar, really, Dan. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Unlike a contractor or a designer that, their majority of their time is spent producing projects,
Yeah.
whether it's design projects or building projects or both. So
Mhm.
yeah, and plus I do design as well, so I know how much time that can eat up.
Mhm.
It can be substantial. So
Mhm.
yeah, it really is something. And John, I know the last time, we've talked many times. I know you haven't updated your website in a long time.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
been
your
4 or
copyright's
5 years,
twenty
and
fifteen.
and it
20
was never finished.
says 2015 on the bottom, so that would be 7 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I think something
and
that's really interesting is that you're busy in spite of this, right? Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't a deal breaker for you, but I do think there are some folks where this could be a deal breaker because they don't have the experience or reputation that you have.
yeah,
So for folks maybe just starting out or, trying to get more design work, this is something where they have to put more energy and, again, those resources, time and or money or both,
yeah,
into
Right.
having a really strong presence because you've got your reputation to rely on, right? And you probably
Yeah,
have a
but
good
that doesn't
referral network,
that doesn't that doesn't mean anything if people don't know I'm here,
that's
correct?
true.
right?
That's true.
So,
Correct.
yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I mean, just even looking at your website, I've got lots of ideas just pop right off the top of my head. And,
Well, I'm not doing construction anymore, so it's going to be totally different.
right. So
Well, that's number one right there.
there you go.
What are your goals, John?
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned, like a once a week meeting or once a month or whatever, but I know you're going to give me homework in between.
Well, it kind of
Right.
depends. So like in this case, let's say that your ask is, I want to redo my website and I want to have an online presence. So there are a couple of ways that agencies kind of bundle and batch that work. You could talk to your partner once a week or once a month, whatever. It's just you have to come up with the vision so that they know where to go and that they know where to go without your, involvement in all those pieces and parts.
It's really,
Another thing I would recommend is, like, for
Joleen,
Dan.
let me interrupt for 1 second. It's really no different than us working with someone wanting to build a building. Okay.
Right.
They have an idea, a picture in their mind, what they want. And it's up to us to put it on in computer at this point, but not on paper quite yet. And bring those ideas into a reality of a buildable project. So we're the ones that do that. So that's
so we know what questions to ask when we're trying to design a building.
Yeah.
What questions to ask when you're trying to design a marketing
strategy.
Exactly.
Right on. That's perfect.
Well,
hey, by the way,
real
quick, those of you on the call, if you got a minute, put your website in or
hot seat.
channel. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you got some questions about your site, put it in there in the chat. We'd love to take a look at it.
And we'll be gentle, right, guys? We promise to be gentle.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, and they all get the choice. I didn't get the choice.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, your site looks really nice, John, at first glance.
It's beautiful, right?
It's really a nice site, but there's unfinished things on it, and you don't do construction anymore. So it's like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I had one more thought too, John, on time. So the other thing that I think is really, really important if people are looking for agency partners is you have to find somebody that you trust, because the very last thing you want to get into is the back and forth about creative. So what I mean is, let's say that you want to be more brand forward. You want more things out there about you and your brand. So with your partner, you should come up with some style guides and some things that you do and you don't do. But in my experience, what gums up the works is the back and forth between, I don't like that font, I don't like that comma. It's the minutia that doesn't really matter. It's that perfection that Dan talks about. It kills completion. And in a social media scape where there is so much coming at people, like, it should be high quality, of course, but losing yourself in the granular details is only costing you time and money. It's more big picture stuff and content that's valuable.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing.
Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I get phone calls every now and then about, hey, I'm from Minneapolis and I build websites in Minneapolis and Duluth or whatever,
Yeah.
So give me some ideas on some things that I should ask those people if I were to reach out to them. How do I know that they're going to be a good partner?
Right. That's a great question. So I would say it's probably more, the question I would ask is, who is going to be working with me?
Okay.
Who is going to be sitting down and listening to me? Will it be you, owner of website and designer? Or, are you going to send me to someone else? How do you incorporate my brand vision, my brand story into the design concept of this? It's really more about the collaborative conversation about how are you going to be heard? Because I think we get into more trouble when we think we can just turn to a partner and say, build my website. And they might boopity boop boop put it into a template, and then you're not happy. It's kind of like Dan and I are working on a new logo, and it didn't have the emotions that he wanted. So we had to go back in there and talk about emotions. It's that kind of connection to you so that they understand you and what you are and who you want to be. I would ask about that.
Okay.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. Sorry, I'm looking for our coupon code.
Oh, awesome.
You guys, we do have a course coming up, and we do have a $50 off deal going on. It's the course is $497, and we're offering $50 off. Jolene's going to come and do a course, on how to do all this stuff. And I'm just sitting here and thinking, God, I got lots of great ideas that I can help you guys with, as far as marketing and finding the right clients and keeping busy. It's not hard stuff. It just has to be done. So anybody, questions? Come on, you guys. Step up to the plate here. Let's have some comments and questions. What do you struggle with in your marketing? What are you looking for out of your, are you on a social media channel? Do you do any of that kind of stuff? Come on, let's have some chat here. Let us know. Okay, here we go. How do you find that person that you trust? You mentioned some of that just now, but what if you do not even know where to start looking? That is an awesome question, Scott.
So I'm going to use Dan's analogy too about like what you do in design and what you do in your business. And it is FaceTime, right? Like you need to be able to trust the person who is really just an extension of your team. And it's a very personal relationship. And I think that it's important to have conversations like this, asking questions about their approach, right? Like how do you approach building a website? If that's what you're trying to solve. Because for a lot of agencies, it's a rinse and repeat kind of endeavor. There are templates and you apply pictures and copy to the right place. But if that doesn't do what you want it to do, you are going to have to get in there and ask some of these questions like responsiveness and who will I work with? How will I be heard? How will you know what my brand is about? How will you do the discovery of what's important to me? What is my role in that? Like how will I be able to tell you what I want? I think anytime you kind of attach and release, meaning here's the assignment, go and do it, we're on a road to heartbreak there. I've seen it happen way too many times. It is a collaborative process, right? Lots of back and forth. And the thing is too, is like some agencies want you to provide the copy, right? Like what's going to say on the text block, what's it going to say on your banner?
So now you have to be a writer, yeah.
You're a writer.
And to me, that's just a plug and play thing. I can do that. I can get a template and do that. I've already done all the work.
But that's not the same thing as connecting with your brand values, right? So you need an agency who understands like bigger picture stuff and understands that this is not a rinse and repeat, because anybody can do that. That doesn't, it's differentiation, right? It's how are you different? What sets you apart? What makes you remarkable? And how do you communicate that? So Scott, I hope that helps. It's like, where do you start? Well, like take me, for example, if you were to work with me, you would call me and we would talk, right? Like, do you connect with me and what my agency is about? Have I let you know where we're going to take you? How do you feel? Are you comfortable? That kind of stuff. And
it's, again, back to us as designers. When someone calls us, what do? We're going to say, hey, you need to build this edition and it needs to be just like this, right? You're going to tell them what to do? No, you're going to ask the client lots and lots of questions. Okay. You're going to go through that whole process to dig into the client's mind about what it is that they've been thinking about. What are their goals and visions for the project? What are their dreams? What are they hoping to accomplish? What are their goals? I mean, all of those questions. So as a designer, so you reach out to someone that's been doing that. And if all they do is tell you what you should do and not ask you what you'd like to do, I would look elsewhere. I mean, it just kind of goes hand in hand with what we do. So just keep that in mind.
Well, and I would say too that like if we look at Dan as an example, our websites can be static. They can be a digital brochure. They can have social proof. They can highlight our work, or they can be a little bit more evolving with what you do and who you are. Yeah. So like Dan's homepage has changed 6 times in the last year.
It's about to change again.
Because of what we bring forward and what's important. And so, and it's not to dump on, like, I think templates are great, right? Like that's an awesome way to do it. It's what you do though in that space. Like you don't need a custom page, custom HTML website. It's definitely fine to use something that's there, but use it well, use your real estate well.
My point is I don't want to come up with all the copy.
Right. Because that's like writing a term paper, John. That's hard.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Although, John, you would have input into the copy by
Right.
Yeah.
being interviewed by someone that would ask you all the right questions
Yeah.
about what you're looking for. So, John Scott's been going back and forth about participating in this class. Time is a huge issue at the moment. I feel perhaps like John, where I don't have the time to do all myself, even with a guide. But I'm also concerned about the cost of having someone do it all as well. So
It's kind of like, Scott, it sounds like a hybrid approach, right? Where it's kind of like, in a hybrid approach, if you took the course and you went through, this is what you have to do, this is what's nice to do, and if it gives you enough tools to DIY it yourself, right? Like, I can handle this.
yeah,
Or if you need a partner, like me, or someone like me, then you will be better prepared to ask the right questions to find them.
right.
Because not all agencies are the same. Obviously, we all do different things. For me, I am very selective. I have a pretty small book of clients because I'm really hands-on. So it's more collaborative and more of a partnership. I consider myself an extension of Dan's team.
Right.
And I'm like that for all of my clients.
Yep.
But then there are others where if you know what you want, you can tell them, right?
Right.
And that's not as expensive. Whereas with Dan, if I can keep using you, Dan doesn't have time to create videos and images and content and reels and stories. We do that for him. And so again, the equation is time or money or both.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, and like you said, a hybrid thing, where I
Yes.
have some money now
Yes.
because I have plenty of work, but in a year I might not have as much work, and I might want to do some of it myself,
And again,
kind of thing.
if you do like I always used to do in my construction business is get these jobs and then I'd go do them. And then I'd be about done and I wouldn't have any more jobs lined up. So I just
Right.
worked myself out of work. And now it's almost too late to start marketing again. It's never too late, but it's like at that point, now I'm going to have a gap in my schedule saying that was pretty stupid.
Right.
I learned to not do that anymore. But when I first got into business, it was pretty common. You're just busy and you don't think about that stuff. So the cool thing about a course like this is Jolene's got tons of content, tons of information. Yeah, you're going to get dumped on. However, we are going to talk about where you should start, step 1, step 2, step 3, and how you can find people. And you're going to get so you'll know what to do and what steps to take and how to do it. It's kind of like coming to my chief architect class. I mean, how many people have I had that have used chief for a long time and they think they're really what's I don't know what the right word is, and they start taking my class and go, oh shit, I know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Right.
I mean, John, you're a good example. I mean, you came to my classes and you soaked it in like a sponge.
Yeah.
But I've got a few years of expertise behind me using that software and the techniques I've created over the years, and that's why you come to my courses. So it's common sense. Anyway, how do you find real SEO? Finding the time to spend on our marketing so we have the presence we need when we are not crazy busy. Oh, okay.
So, Steve, that's a great question. And, search engine optimization comes from, heavy keyword content, right? So, for example, whatever you're an expert at, perhaps you have a piece of content where you are writing about that. So when the rest of us go to the well of wisdom, Google, and we search our question, you pop up. So you are writing and you have a solution for a problem people have. So SEO is it's an awesome way to get more inbound traffic to your website. But then the second piece of that is, okay, what else could complement great SEO? And that's some kind of lead capture on your website. Like, yeah, they've been there, but how do you help them be sticky? Like, what do you have where you give them something in exchange for their email so you can stay in contact with them? So I would say good SEO is step 1.
Well, let's talk about it for 1 second here.
Sure.
SEO, search engine optimization, and of course, Google is a search engine. There are others, but so we talk about digital footprint all the time, right? What's your digital footprint? So when Google goes out and crawls the world like they do all the time, what kind of information are they finding out about you? So here we have an example. I type in Steve Sanger. All right, Steve just asked that question. So what's one of the first things that always comes up when you search for someone's name? It would be LinkedIn. Okay, so that is a big deal. All right, LinkedIn. It's like, okay, and we'll talk about that in the course. If you don't do anything else, improve your LinkedIn profile. So when someone searches your name, and they will, okay, I mean, if you're going to hire someone, what's one of the first things you search their name? You want to find out if they're a legitimate business person and professional, or if there's some sort of, crazy, whatever. And LinkedIn will always come up, hands down. It really does. So you want to make sure you at least have a good LinkedIn account. And then you just scroll down the list and start searching for it. And there are, are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? All those things will percolate to the surface if you don't have any other, anything else in your digital footprint, like your website and other things that you do online. So you always want to be adding to that. And keeping it fresh so that Google is out there and doing its thing. And yeah, it really does matter.
Well, and I think too, it's about your industry and what you do, Steve. Like, what are you good at? What are you trying to sell? Your questions in SEO that your customers might be asking are how to, or where do I find, or, designers in my area, or, whatever those words are. In order to capture them, you have to have content about that. So if your question is, how do I find good SEO or get good SEO? It's like writing a term paper, right? SEO is content heavy, and it is about sitting down and solving a problem that your customers have.
Right.
Now, John, if I said, please sit down and write a, 7-paragraph article on what you're good at, tell me, how do you feel emotionally?
You're fired.
Yeah, right? Like, you don't want to do that, right? That is very, very, very time consuming. And there are lots of amazing agencies that offer SEO as a solution, and they will write for you with heavy keyword content, right? But just be prepared. It will cost you, because it is a skill that you can't outsource to someone who isn't a strong critical thinker. It's someone who needs to represent your brand, and it can be very expensive, but it can also be really amazing for a business. Really amazing. I've had clients pay upward of, $800 for one blog post, sometimes $1,200. It just depends.
Right. And there's other people out there in the industry that are producing that stuff that we can use, for a fee.
Sure.
For our own blogs and stuff like that too.
Right.
So
architectural design, right?
Yeah.
So Steve, you've got things, your customers go to Google and they ask, how do I find an amazing architectural designer in my area? Right? So you might want to write an article about that has those words in the article. That's the trick.
Yeah. So as a local business, okay, when you're trying to get people to find you in your city, it's a lot easier than what I do, where I'm trying to get people to find me all over the place. So, and, plus chief architect, everybody's doing chief architect these days. So it takes a lot of work for me to stay on the first page of Google for chief architect. Chief architect themselves, they're just phenomenal marketing. They have a 6-person social media team at their company that's all they do. And it's like, yeah, how are you going to compete with that? It's just little me. Of course, I got Joleen to help it. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Because I do stay active, but local stuff is fun, and we're going to talk a lot about that in the course.
Yep. There's a whole module on that, actually.
Yeah.
And Steve and Scott, are you is one of your goals local lead generation? Are you looking for clients anywhere, or do you want them to be, closer to your zip code? Because local lead generation, as Dan said, is its own project and strategy. And it's really pretty awesome, the power of Google when you set it up right. So in the course, I'm going to give you a guide.
And that part's not that hard to do, right, Joleen?
No,
yeah,
it's not.
You just got to know the right things to do.
Yep, you just got to get it done.
Yeah, and you will cover that in great detail.
Yes, I will.
And if that's all you come away from this course, the $450 for this course is like, yeah, that ROI on that's going to be huge.
Yeah, so both are saying, Dan, that local is better. And so for sure, Scott, we need to get you to set up your Google My Business if you haven't already. And that is one of the modules in the course. I'll show you how to do it. And I'll even give you a guidebook to take with you. Oof, oof.
Social media. Okay. Got it. John, you're somewhat active on Facebook and the Facebook groups and things like that.
Yep.
How does that help you? I mean, do you enjoy doing that? Do you think about the the implications of social media and SEO as you're doing that, or you just like helping people and helping people out there, right?
Yeah, I like helping people, but I'm also hoping that when I'm not so busy, that my name's been out there enough that, and that's why I want to have some way to capture some of these people that are, are that I'm helping and stuff. And then down the road, when I'm not so busy and I need some work, I can say, hey, do you want some training?
Yeah,
that
John,
kind
we
of
have
thing.
to get you built with a lead magnet with some kind of lead capture. Give them something valuable, that irresistible bribe, called a lead magnet. I'm going to
Yep.
give you this amazing piece of content. You're going to give me your email so that you can get them on a list. And when that time comes, when you're like, hey, I've got room to take on a few more
Mhm.
projects, it's
Yep.
either by a way of referral or, a more direct approach that they need you,
Right.
that you'll have
So,
them and you're
so
not scrambling.
John, when's the last time you sent an email out to the people that you've done work for in the last 5 years?
Christmas letter.
Oh, that was nice.
That works. That's better than I think most people do.
Yeah.
So,
That was my wife's doing.
I
Good job,
got the
Patty.
letter, by the way. I did get the letter. It was very nice. She did a great
Well,
job
and
on it.
Dan, Steve is saying here too about social media is so much time.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. And
It-
I'm sorry to be plugging the course so much, and forgive me for that. But we do have a section in the course where the thing about social media is I think we all feel a lot of pressure that we have to do all of it when that is not the case. You can choose to do one channel and just do that channel really, really, really well,
Yeah.
but pick your channel based off of what you like to do,
If
right?
it's Instagram, you post a picture of
Pictures and maybe
projects that
video.
you're working on
Yep.
or things you're creating or ideas you have. I mean,
Hmm.
little things like that. Facebook, same kind of a deal. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, there are ways you can do it without spending much time on
Well,
social
yeah,
media.
but you have to identify what you like. And because if you're the content creator, right, if you're the one creating the content, you got to figure out what you like because otherwise you won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So you got to
exactly.
figure out what you like. And then the next step is, okay, what do I like doing that is valuable to my customers? Because we don't need any more garbage content, right?
Yeah.
We don't need any more pictures of sunsets with quotes on it. We don't need any more of that.
Well, maybe on your personal channel, but
Right.
but for your
We
friends.
need you to be our nurturing advisor and tell us something that helps us or makes our life better. And then the marriage of it is what do you like to make? If you like to write, do you like to take pictures? Are you good at taking videos? What are you willing to do?
Yeah.
That's how you come up with getting it done. So it's not so painful. Like it's supposed to be great, right? Liberating and fun. And we make it into a dissertation. We make it so hard.
And part of it too is, if you do something in social media, you spend some time and you do it, and it's just like, then you put it up there, and not much happens, and it's like,
Mhm,
well, that was a waste of time.
mhm.
Um, but was it?
Well, and I have a diagnosis for why it might be a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's a
Or
waste
maybe
of
it wasn't.
time. Well, it's a waste of time, Dan, if you do it once. If you're a one-hit wonder,
Yeah.
that's when it's a waste of time. If you do something great, you jump in, you do it, and then you never do it again, I've forgotten about you the second I scroll to the next thing. So consistency compounds, and doing something that you're willing to spend time on is the only way that it works.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're pretty good at that. I got a lot of things to improve on myself. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
like doing little videos when I do them. I mean, it's like I hate the idea of doing them, but once I'm doing them, I have
Mm-hmm.
fun doing them. And then I hate the idea of editing them, and I hate the idea of posting them
Right.
because I've got so many other things I want to do. But once I create a little video, Joleen,
Right.
you take care of posting it, and it's all
Well,
done.
but
And
Dan, what's so great about what you love, though, is you are on trend for what we're seeing here in 2022, and that is more short form content. 3 minutes is long.
yeah,
So Dan likes creating short videos, and that's exactly what we need because that's exactly what's on trend right now, what people are absorbing faster than people can create it. So
yeah. I mean,
that's how it works. He likes to make it. So yay.
well, and we've even talked about this show being an hour long. Should we cut it down to half hour? Which I'm seeing a
Right.
lot of guys do that, and it's like, oh man, probably not. If we're doing chief architect stuff, probably
Right.
not. 'Cause
That's different.
we have a lot of fun with that, and people ask questions and that.
Yeah.
Other types of things. Yeah, maybe we'll consider cutting it a little shorter. But I know we're having fun here. We're answering questions, and I hope this is beneficial for people. So, so anybody have a website they'd like us to look at?
Ooh,
Come on. Give
I
us a
love the
website.
hot seat. That's my favorite.
I'd go to my website, but I'm already deep into what we're going to change on it. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that right now.
Right. Exactly.
In fact, we're working on a new logo right now, and it's really fun how we're doing it. We're going to 99 Designs, and Joleen put up, what we're looking for, and we talked quite a bit about it. And I think the first time around we had about 134 submissions. Didn't like any of them, so we did a second round, and got one I think I like now. I'm not going to show it right now, but I'm pretty excited about it. In fact, Joleen doesn't even know what it is yet, so I'm going to make her go choose
Yes.
one to see if we come up with the same one.
Well, and if I could just say something about 99 Designs, and I noticed over here that Scott says his is way out of date. That's very interesting, and you let us know if you want a little. It's kind of what I sense you saying is it's out of date, and we'd have a lot to say about it. But we're happy to be very gentle. But with 99 Designs,
It's free advice today, so if you put
exactly.
it up there,
We went to 99 Designs, even though I have a team of designers, because you can create these contests and you write a really well detailed brief about what you want. You provide colors, you tell them styles of logos that you like. But I think the reason that I encourage people to do it is you get so many different points of view. And you can really compare and contrast. And Dan and I didn't like the first round, so we gave more feedback. We went deeper. And, John, I'm thinking about you when I think about it takes time. Both Dan and I have spent a lot of time in this project providing feedback, but it's his brand. So it's really, really important.
I want to pick carefully.
Yes. Yes. And you wanted to stay for a while.
Yeah, I did this with my last logo, and it was really nice. It worked out well for many years, but it's time for a refresh. And
I love mine too, and it took a while. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to make this right, and building off of that whole idea of the logo, because we're coming up with so many new ideas and things that we're going to do for my brand that I'm pretty excited about it. So,
John, do you have a logo?
No.
Okay.
We're changing the name of the business and everything, so
right.
Kind of started working on just the way to present the name kind of thing, but nothing like your Raven or anything like that, or so.
Yeah, I love my Raven. I love it so much. But again, I have a team of designers, and I still went to 99 Designs just because it was just so great to have 150 different points of view. It really opened it up, and then I loved that process, and it's not that expensive, so I think I highly recommend.
Scott, I'm looking at your website. Let me know if I can show it, would you? It's really nice. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you talking about Scott?
Yeah, Scott Stubbs. He says it's way out of date. First impression is looks really nice. So Scott, if you're there, I won't show unless you say it's okay. I like it. You're doing a lot of things right.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, yay. I'm excited.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you,
So
Scott.
here we are. So let's get back here. So here's
Oh,
that site called Design Loft. I do have the right site, right, Scott? Um, I assume these are some projects that you've done or designed. Custom home design. So that would mean you've designed these. It's a beautiful house. And so, yeah, so we'll spend a bunch of time in our course going through different websites,
that's it.
looking at things and ideas. And there's all sorts of things you can do to deep dive into this, into what you've got here to see what's working. I think we're gonna talk about Google Analytics too, right?
Yeah.
To see what's working, because that tool still baffles me to death. But when I get in there with someone that can show me how it works, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. So this is working. This is working. That's not. You got your phone number, hours. You got social media channels up here.
I have. Let me know if you want me to weigh in. I have just a couple of ideas.
Just a second. And so look at this. That looks great. So your digital footprint's looking pretty good so far, from just a little bit I'm seeing here. You got a Tweety account, 31 following, 13 followers. So it looks like you're posting there, doing better than me in that. Google Plus, that's not here anymore, so you might want to get rid of that logo up there. Pinterest, is Pinterest still pretty hot? Is that a big deal?
It is for especially think about people who are planning their dream home and they are looking for ideas and they make boards about design or decorating ideas. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then of course house. This could be me. You got 12 projects up there. You've got 29 5-star reviews. You're killing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, shit. Good for you. So anyway, Joleen, go ahead.
Okay, so a super easy thing, Scott, is take that social media bar and put that at the bottom. And the reason I suggest that is because social media is a wormhole and just leads to distraction. So if at the top we're having folks go to a different channel, they're leaving your website right away. If they want social media proof about you and they want to see your presence on other channels, they'll find it. Just bring that down to the footer so that you don't lose them off the top of the page. And then, of course, if there are buttons at the top of the page where you're not active or not putting your best foot forward, get rid of them. We don't need them to be distracted. We want them to feel it's like they're vetting you. It's social proof and validation that you're awesome. So, and then always, always, always make sure things open in a new tab and don't take them away from your website. You want them to stay put and be super.
Does that well. Yep. Those are all new tabs. So
awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. And then, like I said, if you're not active on a social channel, just get rid of it because it looks worse to have the link to that channel with no content there than to not be on that channel. A trend that you'll see more and more is if you're doing one channel and doing it really well, just link to that. Yeah. You don't have to link to all of them anymore. That's old news. That's not how we really do it anymore. And then the other thing I would say is the opportunity that's missing is that lead capture. Yeah. So what do your customers present to you as a problem over and over and over again? What do they need help with? What is their pain point? What's the balm that you provide that soothes their pain? What is that? And then we make that into a piece of content. And again, it becomes that irresistible bribe. I'll give this to you in exchange for your email so that you can stay in touch.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I do that on my site where if you scroll down my homepage, you can get a free, where'd it go here? Free resource, kitchen work centers, 15 reasons. I mean, they're just handouts I put together. Robin did this one. I did this one. And we've got a free brick library. So we've got some freebies that people can get in exchange for their email. And it gets me leads.
Could it even be something as simple as a coupon for an hour consultation or something like
Sure.
that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you say, yeah, and John, I mean, that's it, the language. It's, get your free consultation, but you're going to need to know how to get a hold of them. So
Yeah.
name and email and phone number all make perfect sense. And that is a reasonable bribe. I'd take that bribe. I'll give
Yeah.
you my email in exchange for your time for sure.
Yeah.
So, and
And that's really a great idea, John. So that's something I think we're seeing more people do.
yep, Scott, you could do that too. If it's, so instead of like, I think yours is call or email us now to discuss your projects. If you wanted them to be a bit stickier, you might change that to, get a free consultation, or whatever, again, that soothing balm is that you provide to problems that they have.
Yeah.
And
So,
and I have a whole section too in the course about how to make a lead magnet. Dan has several, and again, they don't need to be a dissertation. They just need to be valuable.
yeah.
And because you're experts in your area, they are a whole lot easier to come up with than you might think.
Yeah.
And there are lots and lots of design tools to help you make them. So you
Yep.
don't need to outsource it to, somebody who's a Photoshop pro. We can show you how to do that.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Checklists are really popular, things like that. So, but part of that whole process is really having a strong identity of what you do. So I know you say custom home design loft, and here you build. I'm not quite sure if you're building these things. See, this is where you get a lot of advice. This is great. You do home design. Got it. Okay. But are these, you build these things? These other two, you build them, or you just design those two? So that's where I'm a little fuzzy here. So a little bit more clarity. Yeah, we design these things too, and we're really good at it. So just a little bit more clarity. But overall, you got a great web presence. You got a great digital footprint.
Well, and I would say too,
Just
Scott,
design.
so something that comes up for me,
Yeah.
and Dan shared it on, I don't know, a show or two ago. Remember, Dan, that guy who was just really direct? He was just like,
Oh yeah.
what did he say?
We don't take any projects under 60,000.
60,000. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So while it was, abrupt, what I love about that is you have to repel who you don't want, so you leave room to attract who you do. So I would also say that right there in that hero spot where you have those lovely pictures of what you've designed is say something definitive, like we design luxury homes in Colorado or whatever the case may be. Like be so specific that you can repel who you want to. So you don't get those phone calls about, can you put a deck on my house or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You gotta lead them. Or will you remodel my bathroom? Or will you put on my roof? Or whatever.
Like your coupon for an hour consultation, it's $180 value.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or $250 value or whatever,
Right. Say what it is. Yep, exactly.
We are open. We're doing estimates and projects with COVID-19 safety measures. Minimum project size 60,000. So, if you need a door fixed, you're probably not going to call these guys.
I love that they've done this. I really do. I think it's really smart. Now, I might have massaged the language a bit, but I think that's
kind of direct. Yeah. Bam.
Right. Like speak your truth, Apple. Like do it.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying we're busy and we're proud of it. If you want to work with us, it's going to cost you. So, I should ask Steve how that's working for him. Anyway, so that's really good. Cool. Scott, thanks for letting us take a look at your site. That was awesome. I appreciate it.
Well, and I would just like to add for Scott and Steve too that, I appreciate that you've been thinking about joining our course. And if you do have anyone else on your team, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's not you that takes the course. But if you've got other folks who can do some of, navigating through this, because if you are looking to enhance your digital footprint or work on your brand, some of it is pushing buttons here in the beginning and getting everything sorted out so that you can be heading in the right direction.
Yep. So course is 6 modules. I've seen some of the content that you're going to be presenting, Joleen. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
you will come away, whoever takes the course will come away with some great information. You will discover a ton of things that you could be doing, but you really only need one or two that can really make a big difference for what you're doing, at least to get you started. And then you'll have a roadmap that you can work towards keeping to add things, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years out. So that's a big part of it too, the have to do, the schedule and the have to do versus the nice to do. That's really important. So I'm actually excited to be part of this course too, because I'm sure I'll learn a ton. But it's because I've been doing this kind of stuff for so long, it'll be fun to be involved in the course because I think I can offer a few insights as well. So that it's the course is $497. There's $50 coupon code. It's what's it again? 50 off. 50 off marketing mastery is if you get $50 off. Plus, you're going to get a free hour. You're going to get an hour of Joleen's time, and if I can, I'll be on the call too.
It's a $1 million value.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. So, yep. I like that. Yeah, we should market that one. Getting some bonuses, getting banned from Facebook, what you don't want to do, the fact, some sales things, local lead generation. This is a big deal. Again, we're going to spend a bunch of time talking about this one. This is a big deal for local people and contractors. And everything's recorded. You get access to it. There's going to be tons of handouts. It's a hell of a value. It's way underpriced, Joleen.
That's because my hourly rate's $1 million. I thought I better, behave myself.
Yeah. So love if you guys could join us. We're going to start next week. That's the plan. So you need to jump on that. Any other questions, you guys? They got a couple comments here. Nice. This has been insightful. It's good, Scott. Thanks for being there. And like John, you've got a good online presence too, but it's just got the wrong message.
Right. But
so
looking at who it's attracted, it over the last 7 years, it's only attracted like 50 people. And probably 30 of those were people who wanted to do my website for me.
Right.
or more, So
your free Google coupon.
Attract great people.
Get your free Google ads coupon. They're calling you every day, aren't they? But no, you do have a good presence out there, so you got to keep it going. Yeah, I get those calls too all the time. I just got one this morning, as a matter of fact, for a website I own. It's like, I'm not gonna do anything with that. But it's what people do. That's how they get their business. So the other thing I think that we talked about lead magnets, but we really didn't hit on email. And I think that's an area that a lot of contractors, a lot of people in this industry don't really pay enough attention to. Collecting every single email of every single client that you've ever worked for, getting the emails of leads, even the ones that didn't follow through. You can categorize those and do a regular newsletter or something that you can keep your name in front of people. Email's still a great way to do that. If people have given you permission, i.e. they've filled out a form on your site, they've given you permission to send them emails. It's not spam. That's you providing good, valuable information. Lately, I've been doing my emails with not a lot. I've just been talking about things coming up. Of course, the designer show is a freebie. When I put emails out on that, it's like, if you come to the show, I hope you learn a bunch. That's what we're here for. So people have signed up for that. They've done the RSVP form. They've given me permission to send them an email. So I do that, and hopefully they show up and learn a few things.
And Dan, if you scroll down, so I consider email to be a part of what I call the Holy Trinity. And the Trinity is your website, your email, and social. So those three things are in the list of the have to do's, and the extent to which you do it is dependent upon what your goals are and how much time you have. But having a solid email plan is your email is another marketing platform. And to look at it as anything other than marketing is, you're missing an opportunity, right? So you have to be as strategic with your email as you are with your website and your social.
It doesn't have to take a lot of time.
No, but it has to have a plan, right? You don't want to be reactionary. Like, you want to be ahead of it.
Yeah. I still get emails from clients that I've worked with years ago that they're just sending out their quarterly newsletter or some tip, here's some spring cleanup tips for you, things like that. I enjoy looking at them and going through them. Of course, I'm not in their area. They're just people I know from all over the country, and I've signed up for their email list just so I could do that, just to kind of keep an eye on what they're up to. It's really nice to hear from them. I do enjoy that.
And Dan, Steve has a question about the timing of the class.
Oh, next Thursday, we're starting next Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday and Thursday for 6 weeks. And then Wednesday is going to be Zoom calls.
Tuesday and Thursday for 3 weeks, right?
3
Yeah,
weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
No, yeah, 3 weeks. There's a slight chance we might push it a week. All right. So, but we'll still do a Zoom call next week for sure. I think you're going to go to the Builder Show, Steve. I didn't even put that. I didn't notice that on my calendar that the Builder Show was at that time. So if you miss some, the recordings will be there. And the Zoom calls, you'll be able to chime in anytime on those and ask questions. So it's all recorded, so you'll be able to get to it and review it.
Do you have the Zoom calls scheduled yet? Did you say they're on?
They're in between. Yeah, it's gonna be Tuesday, Thursday the courses, and Wednesdays are the Zoom calls in between those. So.
Mexico! Forget the Builder Show.
Okay. Yeah. Smart guy.
Good for you. Be safe.
Yeah, they got internet in Mexico. You can chime in.
That's right.
I know. Although you want to shut the brain off. I get it.
Dan's hardcore.
Steve, you got an extra room? Good for you, dude. I don't have any vacations planned. I need to get something on the calendar.
That should be the next thing on the list, right?
Yes, it should be. So, all right, Joleen, got anything else you want to add? John, you got any more questions? Anybody else got any more questions?
Yep, Scott's got one more. Will all the classes and Zoom be at the same time? Yeah, to keep it easy, it is the same time every day.
3 to 4:30 Central Standard Time.
Oh, if you always work, well, we'll keep you company.
Yeah, there you go. You can tease us with all your.
You could have the coolest background too.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Real. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, all the classes are at the same time.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're just about wrapped up here, and I hope some of this has been helpful. It's really fun to go through people's websites, and once we start digging into you get to see how Google Analytics work. So you get an idea of what goes on in the background and the kind of information that Google has about your digital footprint. It's almost kind of scary, but that's what it is. It's the digital world that we've signed up for, whether we like it or not. I mean, it's just, that's how we market our businesses this year, and that's how we get the word out. So the more you know about how you can look at the results that you're getting from what you're doing, the better decisions you can make. So
data drives, right? Data drives what you do. Right?
Oh, how do we sign up? Good question. Go over to Chief Experts Academy. It's right here. It's kind of scrolling at the bottom. But if you just go to Chief Experts Academy website, thank you. Go to
We're right in that hero spot.
Right in this top spot on the website. Hit Learn More. You can just scroll down, and there's a button down at the bottom here to register now. $4.97. Use that coupon code 50 off digital marketing mastery. Thank you. And you'll be good to go.
So fun, Steve. We'll see you there.
Cool. All right. I think we're about done. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thanks so much.
Yeah, this has been fun. So look forward. Marketing really is kind of fun when you start getting into it and you get to you talk with people that know about marketing. It's kind of like someone wanting to build a home or do an addition. It's hard for them to understand what happens until they start working with a good designer. And then it starts to become fun, especially when they're doing chief architect and you see it all in 3D. How fun is that? So anyway, thanks everyone. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you
Thanks,
next
Matt.
time.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, bye now.
Yeah, okay.